My name is Coleman Buckley, and in 2013 I started Ride Engine. Growing up, I had very arts and crafts, kind of hippie childhood, and then in college, it's pretty hardcore into biology and natural sciences, and eventually thought I wanted to be a doctor. But when I moved to Santa Cruz, I got into kitesurfing and got confident enough that I started wanting to change little things about my gear, and then at some point just started making my own gear from scratch and sewing kites and making my own harnesses and bars and things. And eventually the harnesses, some of my friends tried it out and they liked it, and so made it for them. And there's a little parking lot scene where everyone had one, and it's kept spreading by word of mouth until, and eventually realized that I had enough people wanting harnesses that I could do that full time. It's funny, I mean, a lot's changed and nothing has changed. In terms of what hasn't changed, you know, I still here, still tinkering around with weird things. And what has changed is just because, you know, because it's a full-fledged company and it has the resources to support it, I've been able to focus entirely on, you know, on developing product, as opposed to before. You know, I was spending all day doing customer service emails and going to the post office to mail things, and, you know, ordering printer toner and for, you know, just all the little things that come with a small business. I was able to delegate a lot of those responsibilities, and so I feel like it's increased my quality of life a lot. But in terms of day-to-day and the way I think about things, everything's pretty much still the same. Designing the harnesses is funny because you know, the human body has a lot of weird curves and moves in strange ways, and so anytime I try to design things on paper, they never work. I find I always have to put it on myself to actually make it work. So normally harness stuff, I make a big mess because I'm just sticking things to myself and cutting out pieces and spray gluing things to my t-shirt to kind of see how they move when I move. And it's funny, there's all these videos of people you know, with all these sensors trying to design the perfect harness, and I don't see how you could ever make that really work. For me, it's always just been, you know, just arts and crafts, using your hands and really shaping something. And you know, feeling how it feels on you when you move, and when something's right, it's obvious, and when something needs more work, you know, that's also just as clear. When something is, you know, when you're the only person that your decisions affect, you can do whatever you want and not think about it too hard. And so for me, that was cool because it was right in the beginning. It meant that any change to product, and also because I was making every single one, they came out exactly how I thought they should be. And now, because it's a larger company, you know, it's not just me. There's people with families that are part of it, and the company needs to do well so that, you know, they have, you know, they can put food on the table. So I'd say we're definitely a little less risk adverse, but at the same time, I feel like everyone really does put effort into making it genuine and keeping it, you know, pretty true. So I think the biggest changes are kind of small stuff where I might prefer things to be more minimalist than the market might be ready for. And that's generally where there's there's compromise, but in terms of like the brand and the vibe and everything, I think it's still pretty original to how it's been. I think I have a problem with making and selling things just for the purpose of making and selling things. I think it's important to kind of treat things as, if you're making and selling something, or the type of equipment that we are, that it's really a tool that that has a lot of functionality to it, and that it's not just stuff. You know, I want it to be a thing that has a purpose. This was the original harness I ever made. It was like it's a kind, and I took out the guts and made it inflatable. But then when it inflates, this side would stick out, and so I had to make a shell to keep it so it only, you know, it moved one direction when I pumped it up. And so that's how I came up with the shell concept. And then all of these ones, these are all those boxes. I've got like hundreds and hundreds of shells, and they're all the, you know, when I was doing the custom program, I'd mail someone one of these, they'd heat it up in their oven and then mold it to their back and send it back. But the end result was that I have so many of these things that when we went to do the production harnesses, I had them all so I could measure them all and do some statistical analysis to try to figure out the best shape. And yeah, it's pretty, I mean, it's super, you know, super analog, old school, but also I think it's kind of the deepest market research that anyone's done for that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just kind of funny. If anyone needs some of these, I've got lots of them. Don't really know. I feel bad throwing them away, but don't know what to do with them either.